Mr. R. Ganesan, sir. He has finished his undergraduation in Einstein College and post-graduation in Tyagaraja College of Engineering. And currently he is pursuing his PhD in the area of deregulation. He has a work experience of 11 years and has almost 8 publications to his credit. And he is a member of ISTE and International Association of Engineers, and he has completed successfully REVIT MEP course in 2017 July. Today, we welcome him to share his expertise with us. Kindly, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. I welcome all the faculty members from various colleges. Now I share my screen. Hope my screen visible to all. So today I am going to give a lecture on machine learning applications for renewable energy system. Last 1 week you studied about machine learning and various applications in electrical engineering. Particularly, I am going to give the brief introduction, like it's a basic session for renewable energy system machine learning application. So before that, the machine learning. Machine learning is a grounding technology which enables computer to learn automatically from past data. So machine learning uses various algorithms for building mathematical models and making prediction using historical data or information. Currently, it is being used for various tasks, such as we know about the Facebook auto suggestion, auto tagging, and the recommender system for buying online product. Like that, the machine learning play a vital role in our day-to-day life. So first, a simple introduction about machine learning. After that, renewable energy system research, ongoing research, I'm going to explain. Then interlink with the machine learning, with that research gap, how to we are going to satisfy that the research gap by using the machine learning. These are the 3 parts. Fourth one is the programming for simple program in machine learning algorithm in a renewable energy system. So these are the sections. First, we are going to see machine learning introduction. Simple machine learning introduction. So what is first topic? What is machine learning? In the real world, we are surrounded by humans who can learn everything from their experience with their learning abilities. And we have computers or machines which work on our instruction, not by their own. But can a machine also learn from the experience or past data like a human does? So here comes the role of machine learning. Machine learning is set as a subset of artificial intelligence, like neural network, which are always under the artificial intelligence subset. That is the mainly concern with the development of algorithm, which allow a computer to learn from the data and past experience on their own. The term machine learning was first introduced by Arthur Samuel in 1959. The term it used. So simply said, machine learning enables a machine to automatically learn from data, improve performance from their experience, and predict things without being clearly programmed. With the help of the sample historical data, it's known as training data, because we are giving some historical data to the machine, it will learn, it will train. So machine learning algorithm build a mathematical model for our data or from our data that helps in making prediction or decision without being explicitly programmed. So machine learning bringing computer science and statistics together for creating predictive models so that it is very useful for renewable energy system because we are going to create a predictive models. Machine learning construct or uses the algorithm that learn from historical data. The more we will provide the information, the higher will be the performance. So gradually increasing system demand, which depend on the fast data and the increasing rate of change, which will be decide what the demand we are going to expect in future. Like that we are going to see in renewable energy systems. A machine has ability to learn, it can improve its performance by gaining more data. So this is machine learning and how it is work. Here I show you a simple diagram, input and learn from data, building logical models and output. So machine learning algorithm, we are providing a lot of machine learning algorithm. We are writing own algorithm or already used algorithms to building the logical models. After that, we are getting that output. The output from new data, which is our plant data, giving input and taking output. So a machine learning system learns from historical, builds the prediction model, and whenever it receives new data, predicts the output for it. The accuracy of predict output depends upon the amount of data. As a huge amount of data will build better model. So as already we told. Some features of machine learning is it can learn from past data and improve automatically. It is data-driven technology, and it is look like similar data mining, also deal with a huge amount of data. Then, need for machine learning. What is the need in the modern world? The need for machine learning increasing day by day because we need simplicity. We need avoid complex problems. So the machine learning is increasing day by day. The reason behind the need for machine learning is that capable of doing tasks that are too complex for a person to implement directly. As human, we have some limitation as we cannot access the huge amount of data manually. So for this, we need some computer system, and here comes the machine learning to make things easy to us. So we can train machine learning algorithm by providing them huge amount of data. We cannot analyze that amount of data in manually, so that we give the data from the format of Excel or text format. It will analyze, it will train, and it will give the output. The performance of the machine learning algorithm depends on the amount of data, and it can be determined by the cost function. This cost function enabled and trained data give the output to the model. With the help of machine learning, we can save both time and money. The importance of machine learning can be easily understood by users. Nowadays, self-driving cars, cyber fraud detection, face recognition, friend suggestion, Facebook and Amazon, Netflix, auto recommendation of product, where we search in a product in Amazon, it will be reflected in a Google, like that. These are always also used as a machine learning technique. What are the classification in machine learning? We know the need, then what are the classifications? So classification majorly divided into three parts. One is supervised, another one is unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. So here supervised learning means is a type of machine method in which we provide sample labeled data to the machine learning system in order to train it. Here sampled labeled data because it is a predicted one, or our data which was given to the input is well known one, and on that the basis it predicts the output. This is supervised learning. The system creates a model using labeled data to understand the data sets and learn about each data. Once the training and the processing are done, then we test the model by providing a sample data to check whether it is predicting the exact output or not. The goal of supervised learning is to map input data with output data. So supervised learning is based on supervision, and it is the same as when the student learns things in the supervision of teacher. Supervised learning can be grouped further two categories, classification and regression. So we will see after or later. Second one is unsupervised learning. First one is supervised means if students learn from teacher with their full control. Unsupervised means this look like a self-study. So unsupervised learning is a learning method in which a machine learns without any supervision. The training is provided to the machine with a set of data that has not been labeled. Here there is no label. We are providing the data without labeling. It will be constrained, it will be classified, and algorithm will act as a data without any supervision. The goal of unsupervised learning is to restructure the input data into new features or a group of objects with similar patterns. In unsupervised learning, we don't have predetermined result because there is predictable or known variable we are not provided. So we are providing already the historical data. Look like the forecasting means we give the data, past data, but we are not labeled. What do you mean labeled and labeled? We will see when the example comes what will be labeled and unlabeled. So these are also having two categories, mainly clustering and association. In supervised and unsupervised, there is one particular thing, there is no feedback. If we give the feedback from the result data and we have been providing the reward for each correct option and gaining the rewards, that means reinforcement learning. This is an advanced one, but rarely we use reinforcement learning. So next is machine learning. We hear that term from 1939 from Arthur Samuel, but nowadays it is widely used. So machine learning at present, now machine learning has got a great advancement in research and it is present everywhere across, such as already I told self-driving cars, Amazon, Alexa, recommender system, like that we are using a reinforcement learning with clustering, classification, decision tree, SVM algorithms. So modern machine learning models can be used for making various predictions. We can Google weather prediction, that also a machine learning algorithm, and disease prediction, stock market analysis, everything under the machine learning algorithm. So we want to know about the machine learning means what are the prerequisites we want to know. So before learning machine learning, you must have the basic knowledge of fundamental knowledge of probability and linear algebra. After the computer language, any language, Python, R language, or MATLAB coding. Knowledge of calculus, especially derivative of single variable, that means derivative and integration. So single variable or multivariable, you can learn. So these things are needed to know fully about the machine learning algorithm, because machine learning means the most complex equations are used in machine learning to solve complex problems. So our data for electrical, for some applications, really in general means the machine learning life cycle does the following pattern. First, gathering data, whatever may be in electrical or general. It first gather the data from human. Data processing, prepare the data. After the data wrangling, analyze data, train the model, test the model, and deploy. This is the machine learning life cycle. So we will see one by one. So because if we are going to construct one problem in a renewable energy system, we need to follow this machine learning life cycle so that we can easily get output from or by using the machine learning. So first, gathering data. You can take a renewable energy system means database from the 10 years, for example, solar system or wind system. We want to predict the demand or we want to predict the power generation means we need a historical data. So that data is called as a gathering. So data gathering is the first step of machine learning life cycle. The goal of this step is to identify and obtain all data related to problems. In step, we need to identify the different data sources as data can be collected from various sources such as files, database, internet, or mobile device. It is one of the most important steps of the life cycle. The quantity and quality of the collected data will determine the efficiency of the output. Because if we give the wrong data, means we can predict or we can analyze the wrong problems. So it is a major important in a machine learning. So having data is most important one, which include identify various data source, collect data, integrate the data obtained from different sources. Then we prepare the data preparation, second step. So data preparation, after collecting the data, we need to prepare it for further steps. Data preparation is a step where we put out data into a suitable place and prepare it is used in our machine learning training. In this step, first we put all the data together and then randomize the ordering of the data. So it can be divided into two processes, data exploration and data pre-processing. So after data preparation, we are moving into data wrangling. Data wrangling is the process cleaning and converting raw data into usable format. Maybe you are collecting the data for past 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years. If having the multiple content or getting the duplicate value, then we are going to clean. That is the process. So it is the process of cleaning the data, selecting the variable to use. Okay, some disturbance. So I told about the data wrangling. It is necessary that we have collected is always for our use, as some data may not be useful. In real world application, collected data may have various issues, including missing values, as I already told, duplicate data, invalid data, noises. Like that, we are going to eliminate these values or filtering out by clean the data. So that is the data wrangling and data analysis. Fourth step, I completed the data wrangling means you are going to analyze the data. So now cleaned and prepared data is passed into the analysis step. This step involves selection of analytical techniques. So data I want to analyze. Here the data I am using the applications of optimization technique. You can use particle sum optimization and Kelvin optimization, random forest tree optimization. This is not a learning. This is application of algorithm, optimization algorithm. So they are used to create the model. So data analysis purpose only we are going to use these algorithms. Then we train the model. Model means here machine learning. I already told the supervised, unsupervised, reinforcement. We pick any one the model and we give input to that model. So train the model. This step we train our model to improve its performance for better outcome of the problem. So we use data set to train the model using various machine learning algorithms. So here training model comes under the major three categories. We can fix any one of them. So after train the model, we are going to test the model. Our trained model is somewhat good. Or what about the error comes when our data is tested? So this is the test model. Once our machine learning model has been trained on a given data set, then we test the model. In this step, we check the accuracy of our model by providing a test data set to it. Testing the model determines the percentage accuracy of the model as per the requirement of project or problem. So if I tested it's somewhat okay or the error is minimized, then I'm going to deploy. This step of machine learning lifecycle is deployment, where they deploy the model to the real world system. The prepared model is producing an accurate result as per our requirement with acceptable speed. Then we deploy the model in the real system. But before deploying the project, we will check whether it is improving its performance using available data or not. The deployment phase is similar to make the final report for a project. For example, in real world, for Amazon company is a product auto recommendation system. They take each and every customer data, what we search, what they are spending time in the particular product, like that they are analyze one particular report. It will be fed to and test trained by the machine learning. After that, if it is worked well, means they are finally it go to our system, real world system. So data set gathering is very major important. So how we are going to get the data set? For electrical sector, each and every hour or every day, the data demands data generation will be maintained. Their own power plant as well as the government sectors. So we can get that from different areas. Or particularly, we are going to analyze these data into deregulation market majorly. Because in deregulation market, there are a lot of renewable energy sources work as a private seller or private company to sell their product. So just like that, there is a main application of machine learning involved. So in that, we are going to see first supervised machine learning. So why I am going to explain supervised and supervised as well as reinforcement means we are going to pick one of the machine learning model from that for our energy sector. So first is supervised machine learning. Already we told supervised learning is a type of machine learning in which machine are trained using well-labeled training data. On the basis of the data, machine predict the output. So the labeled data means some input data is already tagged with the correct output. That is the labeled data. Unlabeled data means we don't know about that input data. There is correct output. So that is called as a unlabeled data. In supervised learning, the trained data provided to the machines work as a supervisor that teaches the machine to predict output correctly. It applies the same concept as a student learn with the supervision of teacher. So how supervised learning is work means here I shown labeled data as a hexagonal, triangle, and square. So model training we have labels this if it having the 6 faces means it is a hexagonal, 3 faces means a triangle, and 4 side means it is a square. And model are training that data with the machine learning so that it will predict and give the correct answer as output. This is work way of supervised learning, machine learning. So here also some of the steps involved in supervised learning. This is very important one for us because we are going to use our load demanding in supervised learning methodology. So what are the steps involved is the first determine the type of training data, gather labeled training data, and split the training data into the training data set, test data set. Then determine the input future of the training data set, which should have enough knowledge to the model can accurately predict the output. Again, determine the suitable algorithm for the model, such as support vector machine or decision tree or random forest, like that. We are going to choose algorithm. Execute algorithm on the training data set. Sometimes we need validation set as the control parameters. Maybe we give the weightage of each and every parameter. So which are the subset of training data set. So execute the algorithm on the training data set. This is very important one. And evaluate the accuracy of model by providing the test set. So we are going to give the test set and we are analyzing this test set, how much accuracy will produce. If the model predicts the correct output, which means our model is accurate. So in that, in narrow supervised learning, there are a lot of types, majorly regression and classification. So in regression, linear regression, regression tree, nonlinear regression, like that. So regression algorithm are used. There is a relationship between input variable and output variable. It is used for prediction of continuous variables such as weather forecasting, market trends. Like that, we are using load forecasting, price forecasting. That's also included as a linear. So here some of the types are algorithms that I'm giving. Like that, classification also having some algorithm. Classification algorithm are used when Output variable is category, which means there are two classes such as yes, no, male, female, true, false, like that. Category means we are going to use classification. This used as a random forest, decision tree, logistic tree, support vector mixing. Like that we are going to use. So supervised learning, if we use supervised learning means the model can predict the output on the basis of period experience one, and these are the major advantages of supervised learning. So we can have exact idea about the classes of object, as well as the real world problems can be easily analyzed and sorted out by using supervised learning. But it having also some disadvantages. So okay. So I'm talking about the disadvantages of supervised learning. So supervised learning models are not suitable for handling the complex task because only the predicted output. We are giving input data. That data which already having the correct output means we are going to use supervised learning. And training requires a lot of competition times. So these are the disadvantages of supervised learning. And next we are going to see unsupervised machine learning. So in the previous topic we learned supervised machine learning, in which models are trained using labeled data under the supervision of training data. But there are maybe many cases in which we don't have labeled data and need to find the hidden pattern from the given data set. So to solve such types of cases in machine learning, we need to unsupervised learning techniques. As the name suggests, unsupervised learning is the machine learning technique in which models are not supervised using training data set. Instead, models itself find the hidden pattern and insight from the given data. It can be compared to learning which takes place in the human brain by learning new things. It can be defined. Unsupervised learning is a type of machine learning in which models are trained using unlabeled database. Because labeled database means we already told labeled means when the input is given, the correct output is predicted or correct output is set. But here there is unlabeled means we cannot define the output of that input. So here we have taken unlabeled input data in the diagram source, which means it's not categorized and the corresponding output also not given. So unlabeled data, input raw data, we call as a input raw data. Now this unlabeled data is fed to the machine learning model in order to train it. We are going to train that by using algorithm from the various model. Firstly, it will interrupt the data to find the hidden pattern from the data, and we apply suitable algorithm such as k-means, clustering, decision tree. So like that, any one of algorithm. Once it applies the suitable algorithm, the algorithm divides the data object into group according to the similarity and difference between the object. So like that only it runs. So that it is called as a unsupervised learning. So it having two major types. One is clustering, another one is association, and it shows number of algorithms used in unsupervised learning. So clustering means it's a method of grouping the object into clusters such as the object with most similarity remains into group and has no similarity with the object in another group. So most similarity is one group and less similarity is another group. Cluster analysis find the commonalities between the data object and categorize them as per the presence and absence of those commonalities. So clustering only based on the similarities between the two are major cloud of objectives. But association is the rule in unsupervised learning method, which is used to finding the relationship between the variable in a large database. It determines a set of items that occurs together in dataset. Association rule makes marketing strategy more effective, such as people who buy X item also tend to purchase Y item, like that. Because take one, we are going to buy one thing means Amazon, it shows the customer who bought also bought this, like that. They are grouping together which customer buy this, and also they also buy another things that will be shown for us, like that. It bit associates in unsupervised learning. So a lot of algorithm, I am giving sample algorithm only, but more number of algorithm are used in unsupervised learning. So mainly unsupervised learning where we use means complex task. So unsupervised learning is preferable and easy to get unlabeled data in comparison to labeled data, so that it can be widely used in complex tasks, but it also having some disadvantages. The result of unsupervised learning algorithm might be less accurate because we are giving input data as not labeled. So the algorithm to have exact output in advance, so that the accuracy level is a little bit less. As already we discussed the difference between the supervised and unsupervised in a single picture. Supervised learning means the teacher trained the student. Unsupervised means they itself learn and train their values. Finally, in machine learning topic, reinforcement. So, reinforcement learning means I already told it is a one feedback action having with correct option means it giving the reward, wrong option means it taking the reward. Just like that, the reinforcement learning machine aim to get more rewards, so that it will be give more accurate result. This is main concept here. So consider training a pet dog. We train our pet to bring a ball to us. So we throw a ball at a certain distance and ask them to fetch it back at us. Like that, we are giving training, and we will reward each and every correct time it will done. Slowly, the dog learns that doing the job right and gives him to reward, and then the dog starts doing the job right away every time in future. Like that reinforcement. So once it reward point allotted for the correct prediction, then it will be automatically set that is the right way. That is we are providing the data is good. Like that, it learn from there. So these things are main and basics of machine learning. We broadly use the renewable energy, but machine learning we are going to apply that technology. So renewable energy, already renewable energy is there. First of all, renewable energy means renewable energy is derived from natural processes that are refilled constantly. That is called as a renewable energy. So we know the basics of renewable energy. So I'm not discussing the basics of renewable energy. I'm going to generalize the topic. Renewable energy is derived from natural processes that are replenished constantly. It is various form. It derives directly from the sun, or from heat generated deep within the earth, that means geothermal included, and heat generated from solar, wind, ozone, hydropower, biomass, geothermal, biofuels, hydrogen derived from renewable resource. So these are the renewable energy. So renewable energy resources and significant opportunity for energy efficient exit over wide geographical areas. Maybe in southern Tamil Nadu, wind power station is probably higher compared to North Tamil Nadu. Like that, the region-wise renewable energy sources are available. Hydropower plant is in Papanasam. One is Papanasam and one is Vaigai power plant. So I am telling about in Tamil Nadu. So like that, the region-wise we are getting the renewable energy from their source. And the climate change, global warming concern coupled with the continuing fall in the cost of some renewable energy equipment such as wind turbines and solar panels, the increased usage of renewables. Because if I want to produce 1 megawatt or 1 kilowatt power from the solar panels, it much cost compared to the non-renewable energy. So that the conversion or the percentage of usage of renewable energy is less compared to the non-renewable energies. So renewable energy, what we get from the renewable energy? Power generation, heating, and transportation. Power generation means we are using locally, we are using our house also power get from the renewable energy also. And heating means elder days, the solar water heating like important contributes to renewable heat in many countries. China, America, they are using solar water heating as a primary one. Like that heating. Transportation means the fossil fuels like as bioethanol from the fermentation. So like that, there are that's are used as transportation. So these the renewable energy they are using by the way of power generation, heating, and transportation. So first thing, renewable energy. We know renewable energy basically, but what are the research going on that? Particularly, which area it will be ground, or what are the research gap in that? Because renewable energies are widely used nowadays, but we now the problem means we are going to fix that problem. So first we are going to analyze the problem, and after that we are going to apply the machine learning for that problem. So first in that onshore wind. Sorry. Yes, onshore wind. Wind energy technology is already proven and making progress because we need a sustainable development. If we use the renewable energy, means we want to use for the years and years in futures also. So that is a sustainable development. So increased devotion wind technology research and development are essential to realizing the sustained development with main focus on reducing the investment cost. This is the major problem in renewable energy, investment cost and increasing performance and reliability to reach a lower unit cost of energy. Keep good resource and performance assessments are also together improvement can ensure the cost maintenance. So for that, three caps are identified. Three research ongoing in onshore. What do you mean by onshore and offshore? Onshore means we are providing our wind turbine in a land which airflow make the energy. So in that, first research is widely used in advanced contribution of wind power to grid integration. So wind power, we generate the wind power, and we are going to grid integrated that power for the commercial usage. So wind power generation creates well-known challenges for electricity grids and power system through its versatility and uncertainty and distributed nature. So wind power plants in many cases already contributed their own integration through the range of upgrades, but their contribution will need to be ramped up in the sustained development. So through the combination of regular and grid code. So here we are using increasing silent power generation, stable wind turbine behavior during standard operation during fault becomes key. Here the wind, onshore wind, solution exists for enabling wind plant to ride through fault, which will have to be introduced to new markets and into older turbine at low cost. So day by day we are increasing means we are reducing our risk and cost, everything losses, so that we can get a better and the best performance at least cost. So multi-scale integration of control system we need in wind, and advanced damping services also needed. So these are going on ongoing. So this is the first one, and the second one is improving resource assessment and pattern planning. It means we are modeling production cost accurately is key of determining wind power economics. So modeling means here we need the turbine model and system, as well as where the energy we are going to store, then site layout. So these are the challenges in economic mode. Finally, next generation turbine, powertrain and system management technology. System management technology here is a lot of important because wind power is seasonal one. If sometimes it cannot get more power from the wind turbine. So how we are going to manage? So large rotor diameter and higher heights have higher upfront and per unit power cost, but increase production and decrease cost per unit energy by making better use of resource and decreasing variability of output. If the turbine size maximize, we need to increase the initial costs as well as associated cost. So that how we are going to reduce that? That we are going our research also. These things from onshore wind and geothermal. Geothermal here we are not connected in Tamil Nadu, but in India, some places in geothermal. Also in worldwide, they are using geothermal as one of the energy sources as renewable energy. So, which having first research going development of advanced drilling technologies, because the drilling cost account 40 to 70% of total capital cost. We need to plan, we need to give the equipment, we get the energy from the geothermal means, we want to drill more and more places. That cost is 40 to 70%. So it is also very time consuming part of the project. So we need to reduce that. So development of advanced drilling technology, first main thing. And the second one is expanding geothermal energy use. So far, utilization of geothermal energy has been concentrated in areas with naturally occurring water or steam and relatively permeable rock. However, the vast majority of geothermal energy within drilling reach up to 5 km with current technologies and economics. In a relative dry, low permeability rock, heat tolerant low porosity or low permeability rock is commonly referred as a hot rock source. So we need to examine this and we need to use this. So expanding geothermal energy usage is another research problem to maximize the usage of geothermal. And improving understanding of geothermal resource. So geological database already exist for several parts of the world because we are providing a lot of satellite to analyze the geography, but they could benefit from the incorporating and creating the more complex data emerging from advanced remote sensing and monitoring of hydrothermal resource around the world. Combining these at greatest granularity, extending the geographically and reinterpreting, recompiling, standardizing would enable the creation of publicly accessible, so that we can easily access and assess the exploiting geothermal resource. So these technological issues are present. The R&D also required to enable the exploration and assessment of hidden hydrothermal, geothermal system and hot rock resources, so that we are providing a lot of satellites and we get the geography effect, so that we can use energy very efficiently because of in depth of geothermal. If available in nearby places means we can use easily. So next renewable energy is ozone power. So ozone power, a lot of ozone power is there. Here the animation also shows we are using ozone as a renewable energy. In that, exploiting ozone energy through advanced decision concept means the vast majority of ozone technology today are either wave or tidal energy. Increasing annual generation to reach a sustained development level will also require the investment be diversified towards other alternative concepts and technologies such as ozone thermal energy conversion, we formerly known as OTEC, salinity gradient power and ozone current technology. So we always know 70% of ozone around us, so that we can use plenty of resource here. But the technological level, the ozone thermal energy conversion is a technology to draw thermal energy from the deep ozone and convert it into electricity or commodity. So this technology requires temperature difference of 20 degrees between the warm surface water and the cold deep water. Like that, every salinity gradient power as well as ozone technology need some certain feasibilities. We need to analyze these feasibilities and acquire the knowledge about that. We sort out this problem means we can get more energy from that. So we need to improve design where that the degree of temperature difference is there. So we need to analyze each and every loop and corner of ozone energy. Then only we can get the energies. This is the first research. And the second, scaling up low-cost mechanical concept and manufacturing for wave energy. So wave energy captures kinetic and potential energy from ozone wave to generate electricity. So wave energy converter, commonly known as WECs, are intended to modular and deployed in arrays. But at present, there is a till design continuum for wave energy device with no industry standard device concept. Due to the diverse of nature wave resource, it appears unlikely that there will be one single device concept that is used. So we need to modify this, and we want to get more power from the energy resource. Finally, most awaited one is solar PV. So ongoing research, this is a specialty one, and it's a very popular one because innovation in solar power need is continued focusing increasing the performance of commercial PV system, and a shift to cell and technologies that are now only in the pipeline. A higher penetration innovation can enable PV to contribute to their own integration through smart grid capabilities, which can mitigate the impact of incidents on the grid. Innovation in digital technology applied to solar PV system can also deliver a higher share of mini and off-grid system and increase energy access in developing countries. So increase the integration of off-grid electrification system. So integration, we need to integration off-grid, on-grid, maybe we need a integration system. So better improvement, we need a lot of optimization, we need a lot of technology or model to more and more stable as well as energy efficient one. So for solar home system, which are increasingly cost competitive with kerosene and diesel. So have been technology most widely deployed with this mobile platform, because if it is a diesel power plant means we can get diesel from 100 rupees per liter means we can get energy as the cost mainly are matched. But in a solar power plant, the initial cost of the 1 megawatt is not equal to the diesel value. So pay as you go financing and a cloud-based metering and software platform, we need to analyze the solar energies. This is the first one. After the second one is maintaining the cost reduction trajectory for solar PV. While dramatic scale effect have been achieved in solar PV, research and development effort focused on efficiency and other fundamentals improvement. But mainstream technology at present is dominated by crystalline silicon. Within its screen printer, maybe a lot of technologies improved to get more energy from the solar, but commonly used crystalline silicon. So around 3/4 of the market, with the remaining quarter dominated by passivated emitter rear cell technology. That means PERC. Strong global demand for higher efficiency models, striving a shift towards PERC and the next generation of technologies. So we need to better material to reduce the cost in a solar PV array. That is the main thing going on. Well, but finally, smarter inverter system for balance of system. That means POS. So POS cost is a key area of focus, as they can take up 40 to 60% of all investment cost in PV plant. So system balancing from smart inverter, because we get energy from solar means we tie up with the grid and we give the supply to the others. So that we need a smarter inverter in a solar PV system. Apart from that, in solar PV, lot of research going to improve the efficiency, and these regulation are structural regulation, grid connected, on grid connected, off grid connected. There is a lot of problems are we are getting more improved from the machine learning technologies. So next is offshore wind. Offshore wind means we are planting our wind turbine in a ozone or river, like that. We are going to produce energy from that airflow. because only 30% of land are available, remaining 70% are in ozone and sea. So we need to offshore wind energy. So here the major thing is wind plant, where we plant the offshore wind energy. So this is the first one. So soft cost of offshore wind take up the substantial share to total installed cost. Because if it is land means we can fix it is it is also a complicated one, but if it is in ozone or sea means it will much having the challenge for reaching the sustained development. Second one is reducing cost and risk transmission and distribution of electricity from offshore wind. So first we provide wind plant in the ozone only, so that we can get the energy in middle of ozone. Then we are going to take that energy into our power grid or our customer. So secondly, this is the main research gap or the problem identified in a offshore wind power plant. Then finally, tapping deeper offshore wind resource through floating wind turbines. Maybe it is a recent developed technology in US and Japan. 50 meter to 60 meter depth additional wind resource from the ozone underneath. After that, the overhead will be above the ozone level. So it will be having the more vertical axis turbine which disappear from the land may have a second chance at sea. Although they have a higher material need to cover same swept area and have some dynamic structure issue, the lower center of gravity and fewer parts may be suitable in offshore wind. Like that, lot of problems are there. So they are projects are going in that area also. And the most important renewable energy source is hydropower. So hydropower is a area or localized renewable energy where we having the hydro or river or also like that. We need a hydropower energy means it will be fixed that place only. So dams have high social and environmental cost. That's heavily distributed ecosystem and population where they are developed. Alternatively, they don't require damming or resettlement of population would help reach sustained development. So this is the major thing one, because we construct on dam means it's environmentally it will be cost and affected. Another one is reducing the cost and the impact of civil work. The cost of civil work associated with a new hydropower project construction can be up to 70% of total project cost. Maybe the generator, turbine, as well as the manpower. We need the cost of civil work is 70%. So we need to reduce that. So the research area also involving this to roller compacted concrete (RCC), trapezoidal cemented sand and gravel (CSG) dams nowadays in Japan as well as US. They are building like that. So oil-free turbines, minimum cap runner, fish-friendly turbines, aerating turbines are under research to develop the getting more energy from the hydropower. So machine learning, actually now we completed the renewable energy ongoing research part area, but now machine learning for renewable energy application. Here the pictorial pie chart represents the energy usage of machine learning. This is the machine learning for overall sector. In energy, 46.6% we are using machine learning. Others 1.2%. And other engineering is listed 5.4 is mathematics, computer science in 5.3, and engineering, generalized engineering is 23.1%. So first thing is we mainly focused solar and wind energy for machine learning in a renewable energy application. so that we can get more energy from solar and wind energy. So solar energy, solar production, first part is solar production is already benefited from artificial intelligence in several ways, notably in weather prediction. By having more accurate weather prediction, grid supply can be predicted more accurately. This is highly valued by grid operator. In America, the Department of Energy partnered have with IBM to develop its machine language technology. Next one is AI integration with microgrid. AI integration are proving to the another exciting area in which machine learning is being implemented in. The challenges of variable supplies of electricity and variable load now being tackled through machine learning. So solar energy mostly considered as because we are going to get energy from solar and stored in a battery, we are going to use our distributed or sold out the electricity exchange in a particular location and moment of time, resulting in greater energy consumption efficiency. The struggling that have accompanied the microgrid through the era of its inception of how best to distribute energy now seem to be valiant on development in AI and machine learning. So artificial intelligence is a subset of already we told machine learning. So wants to against the piece. Second one is wind energy. Weather also here also we are going to predict the weather. Wind energy faces many of the same problems as solar energy. In regard to variable weather condition, Google acquired the AI-based convening, and when applying ML algorithm to widely available weather report, they are able to predict about 36 hours ahead of time. This helps them achieve their goal of boosting the value of their energy, increasing the value of it by 20%. Initially, talks we have were held to see if this could be incorporated. And then second one is condition monitoring. It's another application of ML that is proving that the capable of significantly reducing cost for energy producers, especially when applied to wind turbine. Recent models have been able to monitor plate faults or generator temperature, allowing for rapid repair and maintenance to be performed using ML technology and data. Given the fluctuating demand and the protection for energy, ensuring operation runs smoothly at offshore wind farms is crucial. Having monitoring and regulation that is both reliable and precise is a key aspect. Okay. And another thing is machine learning application. Why we are going to machine learning in renewable energy forecasting means we need to some major points to discuss. First one is predicting energy consumption. One of the most crucial part of renewable energy forecasting is predicting how much energy user will consume. Unlike other power sources, renewable does not generate electricity around the clock. The renewable energy can be generated from the nature, so that renewable does not generate electricity around the clock. So power companies need to understand demand so they can allocate the energy appropriately so as not to waste any. So this is why we need predicting energy consumption. People can monitor usage trends to predict upcoming consumption changes, but this can be slow and inaccurate. Since computers are generally better at data-heavy tasks than people, machine learning can spot the trend and make connection faster in the renewable energy sector. In this loop, an algorithm analyzing usage pattern to determine which area will need more energy at any given time. With this information, energy companies can deliver power to where it is needed most. The result is less waste, less distribution, and more consumer satisfaction. Some machine learning algorithm can achieve this even with the partial information, making them far more reliable than traditional approaches. Second one is predicting weather condition. Another unique issue with renewable energy forecasting is weather impact. First, last stage we see solar and wind machine learning application, but here we are going to purely see forecasting application. How we are going to forecast renewable energy usages and renewable energy generation. So it is a major one is predicting weather conditions. So most weather forecasting models rely on data from large geographic regions that do not always accurate represent local conditions. Machine learning algorithm can process far more granular data in similar or even shorter time. This precision and speed produce more reliable, relevant forecasts. Then predicting market movements. Renewable power vendors need to meet market demands to make sustainable energy more widespread. Like any business, appealing to customer requires an understanding of customer trends. Many companies use machine learning application in this area. So can renewable energy business. With enough high quality data, consumer actions are precisely predictable. Machine learning algorithm can forecast long-term market movements. Another thing one is predicting potential issues. What are the issues faced by the somewhat disturbance. Another crucial part of renewable energy forecasting determining where potential problem may arise. While renewables provide lower lifetime operating expense upfront, equipment costs are typically high. If companies can predict when conditions may threaten to create, they can prevent it, leading to considerable savings because we are going to invest to capital cost is high compared to non-renewable energy. So we need to predict potential uses in period so that the workers can prevent costly broken or breakdowns and don't have to perform any unnecessary maintenance. Then machine learning makes renewable energy more viable. Machine learning can help forecast many relevant factors impacting renewable energy. As a result of renewables will become more reliable, affordable, and desirable. With this improvement, they could overtake fossil fuel faster. Renewable energy is promising on its own, but machine learning expands its potential because we get renewable energy power source from various areas. But allocation and predicting is a much important one to generate the renewable energies. So that's why we are moving. Machine learning is improving sustainably across multiple industries. So next, machine learning models in renewable energy prediction. Here I'm showing renewable energy sectors only. Solar having almost 43.85% and wind 40%. Other renewable energies having around 20% via hydropower, biomass, wave, tidal, geothermal. So that we are mostly concentrated on wind and solar. The status of machine learning technology used in renewable energy forecasting so far, they are using adapting neural-fuzzy interface system, particle sum optimization, like that. I listed here for some of sorry. So for wind energy prediction, statistical methods were used to early stage. Recent studies employed artificial intelligence, machine learning techniques, wind energy prediction, such as support vector machines, random forest classification algorithm, gradient boosting decision algorithm, adaptive neuropathy interface system, like that RCPL neural network. So these are the algorithm or model for using recently or widely in a wind and solar power plant. So I given some of technology only. Almost in this 40 years, they are using 40 different models and methods to analyze the renewable energy forecasting. Second one is data pre-processing techniques. So first they are state of is analyze the data, then pre-processing the data. Here, data splitting, decomposition, decentralizing, encoding, and categorizing features they are using to energy forecasting. So the modeling process could be divided into 4 stages, namely data reprocessing, determining the proper hyperparameter, training model, testing model. So these are the data processing techniques done. So the data processing include removing data with missing value and data exception. We already seen supervised learning technique methods. So one by one, they are data reprocessing having the 4 set of data in a supervised learning. So these data exception come from the lack of data caused by the abnormal collection mechanism. For example, solar radiation data at night are meaningless to solar power prediction. So we need to remove that data. Like that, we are going to process the data and split the data. Robust machine learning models are generated by dividing original data into the training data set and the validation data set, the testing data set, performing cross validation procedure during the modeling process. Like that, we are going to use kernelized Malloc distance. That means KWMD. Like that, I listed here also some of major data reprocessing techniques only. Data pre-processing techniques. So a lot of techniques are used so far. We move forward to improve these data and get a much power from the solar and wind. This is the parameter selection of machine learning models in renewable energy prediction. So parameter selection based on the optimization technique like Gray-Wolf optimization, frame optimization, Firefly algorithm, particle PSO, particle sum optimization, that algorithm. But models are the machine learning here, most important one. So extreme learning machine, support vector machine. Most of the systems are used nowadays, support vector machines. But algorithm, we can choose the parameter selection for algorithm. So parameter selection, why we using parameter selection algorithm, I will tell later in an example. Because we can fix any one of the machine learning model, but the parameter for the coefficient of that machine learning will be chosen by the optimization technique, maybe any of the recent algorithm. So here I listed around 40 years what are the combinations we tried to improve our renewable energy prediction. So here we are going to see the example of forecast electrical load using the regression learner app. So regression learner app, before that we should know about the regression analysis in machine learning. So regression analysis in machine learning, it's a statistical method to model the relationship between dependent. Because why most of the cases you are seeing renewable energy, solar, wind, they are using regression analysis as a major one, because the forecasting is a linear one, so that they are using the regression analysis. The regression analysis is a statistical method to model the relationship between the dependent and the independent. So dependent means we want to our target, and independent means we need to predict the variable within one or more independent variables. More specifically, regression analysis helps to understand how the value dependent variable is changing corresponding to the independent variable when other independent variables are held fixed. So that we are going to use predict or forecast analysis, regression analysis. For example, here one example, advertisement. Suppose there is a marketing company A, we fix this as A, who does very advertisement every year and get sales on that. The below it shows the advertisement made by the company in the last 5 years and the corresponding sales. So we want to fix the advertisement cost is $200. What is the sales cost? How they are going to predict like that? Yes. Okay, terminologies related to the regression analysis: dependent variable, independent variable, that means predictor, and outlier, multi-collinearity, and underfitting and overfitting. First, dependent variable, the main factor in regression analysis. We should know about the dependent variable for solar or wind. We should know this dependent variable, which we want to predict or understand. It's called as dependent variable. It is also target variable. So this is our output. And independent variable, the factor which affect the dependent variable or which are used to predict the values of dependent variables are called independent values, also called as predictor. This is also called as predictor. Then outliers. Outlier is an observation which contains either very low value or very high value in comparison to other observed value. An outlier may camber the result, so it should be avoided. And multicollinearity, it's a dependent variable are highly correlated with each other than other variables, then such condition is called multicollinearity. It should not be present in the dataset because it creates problem while ranking the most affected variable. So why do we use regression analysis? Next, because we are going to predict our forecasting. So why do we use regression analysis? As mentioned above, regression analysis helps in the prediction of continuous variables. There are various scenarios in real world where we need some future predictions such as weather conditions, sales prediction, marketing trends. In electrical renewable system, we are going to predict load, price, as well as the weather conditions. So we need regression analysis. So regression estimates the relationship between the target and independent variable. It is used to find the trends in data. It helps to predict the real continuous values. So types of regression. So linear, logistic, polynomial, support, vector regression, decision, random forest, right regression, lasso regression. So majorly we are using linear regression or logistic regression. So here we are going to see, I come here the narrow linear regression. We are going to use linear regression for our forecasting. So linear regression, y is equal to ax plus b, not limited to y is equal to ax plus b, because if the independent variable is more, we can fix as x1, x2, x3, and then the equation will be extended to ax1, bx2 plus c. Like that, we are going to write our linear regression equation. So first, we know about the linear regression. Linear regression is a statistical regression method which used to predictive analysis, and it is one of the very simple and easy algorithm because most of the algorithm based on linear regression. So if we know the linear regression, it explains the dependent and independent variable easily. You can understand easily the machine learning. So linear regression shows the linear relationship between the independent variable and the dependent variable. So it's the only input variable x, just that the linear regression is called simple linear regression. If the multi-input variable means multilinear regression. So particularly we are going to see the linear regression. So already we tell the explanation and the definition of the linear regression. So here I am showing the multi linear regression. So this is a single linear regression, and this is a multi-linear regression. So in dependent variable and independent variable mean increases with the input variables. And here also some of the types in linear regression, simple linear, multilinear. After that, linear regression line, positive linear relationship and the negative linear relationship. So if the positive linear relationship means if the dependent variable increases on the y-axis and the independent variable increases on x-axis. In such relationship is termed as positive linear relationship. In the opposite, negative linear relationship means if the dependent variable decreases on the y-axis and the independent variable increase on the x-axis, then such a relationship is called as a negative linear relationship. So here the equations is y is equal to minus a0 plus a1 x. So finding the best line, why we need to finding the best line? First of all, line means here acceptable and predictable line, which means error value is less in that line. That value is predicted value, which you are going to use to analyze. So we need to fit the line correctly. So finding the best line is the most important one. When working with linear regression, our main goal is to find the best fit line. That means the error between predicted value and actual value should be minimized. The best fit line will have the least error. So the different values of weights or coefficient of lines A0, A1 give the different line of regression. So we need to calculate the best value of A0, A1 and find the best fit line. So if we are going to use linear regression model as machine learning, we are going to find the value of A0 and A1 best value by the use of optimization technique, any one of optimization technique. Here only we are going to use optimization technique to find the A0 value and A1 value. After that, we are going to train that model, linear regression model, so that we get predicted and actual value as comparatively same, so that the error value is less. And major one is cost function. The cost function definitely is going to the mean square error cost function. The equations are also listed. So number of samples, how much number of samples we are going to take in, we are going to calculate the mean square error. The average square error occurred between the predicted values and the actual values. So it should be minimum. And we need to find the gradient descent. We are going to use gradient descent used to minimize the MSE, the MSE value, that means mean square error value, by calculating the gradient of cost function. So a regression model uses gradient descent to update the coefficient of the line by reducing the cost function. It is done by random selection of value coefficient and then iteratively update the value, reach the minimum cost function. So gradient descent is one of optimization tool to select the coefficient of a linear regression. That means A0, A1 value. So we are going to select randomly and we are going to update each and every time, reduce the error of MSE. Then there are assumptions in linear regression, which means linear regression between the features and targets, small or number of multi-linearity between the features, then homoscedasticity assumption, normal distribution for terms, no auto correlations. These are some assumptions in linear regression. Then first we are going to simple forecasting example. So simple forecasting example means, first I explain that example, after that we are going to coding. So I want to estimate a price of land for fixing a wind turbine. So already I fixed a 10 or 12 or 100, more than 100 areas in a wind turbine. I listed that amount, that square feet area. For that square feet area, this much of amount I spend for the fixing the area. So these are the input data. We are going to, this is a simple least square method for cost computation, using gradient descent for iterating the theta value and linear calculating the data set and the data plot. So first, initially, more than 100, you can take more than 100 area, which in terms of that area is in square feet. After that, the amount is in dollar or rupees. You can fix either. So two set of data, one is area, another one is price. I'm going to fit another one wind power plant in a somewhat area. So how much cost is involved? I'm going to predict that cost. Maybe maximum cost or minimum cost for the square feet area. So now I am share my MATLAB program and I will explain the simple regression having 3 steps only. So yes. So you can see, hope you can see the linear regression programming. So I'm taking here ext1 data set. It is a basic data collection process in supervised learning. So here I collect the data of 100 more area and price of that particular area for wind power selection. So now I'm going to predict the value. First row I take the first column as x value. That means size of land. Second is cost of land. Y is the cost of land. So here x is a independent variable and y is a dependent variable. So first initially here I plot and fold the value. After that I call the function cost function. This is a function uh, to a linear regression, which means a plus bx. A and b are the here we represent as a theta value. So theta 1, theta 2. So we find the theta 1, theta 2 by gradient descent method. So here is the gradient descent method function is here. So here we are finding the theta value. That means the coefficient of linear regression value, and the function value is a cost function. So I already told 3 steps in linear regression. One is we are going to initialize that data. Second one is reduce the cost function. That means error MSE error value. Third one is the gradient descent method for gradient descent method for fixing the parameters of linear regression. So here is the gradient descent equations I wrote to find the value of theta value. After that, here above is a cost function to predict the value. So finally, we can get that theta value means we will fix the predicts the cost as per our requirement. So I am run this program. For my data, I get the output, and this is the fit line. This is most versatile and the most blended line here. So this fit line gives the accuracy of our predicted value, and these data are the most usable data and actual versus predicted value, so that the error value here is low. But I am here predicting both value. One is predicted cost is minimum value and maximum value. Both theta value I can calculate here, so that the both cost are I am getting. So here the parameter I am telling A1 and B1 value is a theta. So from the gradient descent it calculated. For my example, it is this. If you can take another value for your I am here fixing two column method, two column data only giving. So some regression analysis, they are using lot of data, maybe thousand data are taking 10 years of data, so that we can use the load forecast model. So this is another one. I will explain this. Before that, we are going to simple method of linear regression. This two column data, one is price and another one is land. So this is a simple technology. Here I am not using any neural network. Here I am not using any algorithm. So simply linear regression, I used linear regression and obtain output. That means predicted value. So another example, I'm going to share my presentation. That another example shows I'm not running that program because it will take 30 to 40 minutes of a second. I think my presentation is visible to you. So load forecasting example, machine learning to forecast the electricity demand 24 hours in advance. So next day for load forecasting, I'm going to done before 24 minutes today itself. So this is the program coding. I'm not. I'm writing this. I'm getting this from MathWork and executed in MATLAB 2017. It will execute it well and give the correct output. You can change according to your input. It will give the best result by using the neural network as a training model and a testing model. They will get the output from trained set of data. So here I will take the MATLAB code also. So model development, how we are going to develop the model and how we are going to get the output. So it's a coding method. First thing is coding method, and we are getting the load forecasting by using linear regression app also. There is linear regression app provided in the MATLAB toolbox. So I will explain later. First, serially, we are going to see the load forecasting. Here, the load forecasting contain the input data. What are the input data they are taking? Major one, and what amount of percentage giving the weightage is a major thing here. So they are taking year. First thing is year. 10 years they are taking the value, and weekend or weekdays. Second value is weekday or weekend. Then temperature of that particular day. Then they are taking hour, previous day hour, previous week hour, previous month hour, previous year month hour. So like that they are taking data, and each and every data is given as a priority value and set at a weightage value. So like that they are taking 15 value as a prediction value. That means A0, A1, A2, A3 this is called as a weightage value. So up to 15 value, year, weekend, weekdays, or temperature, hour. Hour means yesterday hour and last week hour, and last year that particular day hour. Like that they are taking the hours. So more number of data we are given, where providing means accuracy is important. Improve. So number of observations here they are used is 68,520, and the error degree of freedom is 68,507. So they are using neural network train and model the data. So first of all, first page of coding source load is mesh data set. So here they are New York data, they are taking the New York data, create model that understand the entire state or model each region separately. The answer depends on how similarly the different regions behave. If the all exhibit very similar behavior, then we may able to use only one model. However, the box plot below shows the magnitudes and range. I mentioned that box also. So each and every area they are demand setting. First, initially they are taking. Second thing, they are start with modeling a single zone. Here they are taking only single zone. We will start by evaluating out our model on one of the zone. In this case, New York City zone, the weather station at LaGuardia Airport covers most of the zone. Once we understand how to model a single zone, we can expand our analysis to other zones. So that they are taking single zone for analysis. So they are taking the New York ISO model. ISO means they are taking first initialized model. So they take only one set of data, and the data after that they are creating the temporal predictor. That means yearly they get individually they get the hour, month, year, day, and is weekend or not. They are getting the data. So after that, cover basis or month basis means this is a day or week cyclical. Maybe if it is a 24-hour format or 12-hour format, we are using 24-hour means we need to convert into yes 12-hour format. So like that they are convert this into model data to hour X. That means angle format. Particularly if 12-hour data means we need to linear, not a linearly one. It is a clock. We saw the clock means it having the angular value 360 degree. So they are converting the hour means how much angle, and like that each and every data converted into the angular value for faster. So these are the model data. Temperature, EW, PNT, temperature, hour X, hour Y. These are converted by the hour clockwise time. And from 40 to 62, coding from 40 to 62, the load data itself can be used as a predictor. So we could use traditional time series analysis. Look, autocorrection will show the interesting pattern. This peak autocorrection is 24 and 160 hours lag suggests to lag of detector 1 and 7 days. So we are going to use 1 to 7 days, so that 1 to 7 days means it approximately 24 hours to 160 hours lag. Sorry. So the training and the testing data here we split because we used lakhs of lakhs data. So split the training data and the testing data. Testing data means we are going to give the correct input as well as the output to the testing, so that the training data will be trained like that value. If it is corrected means with this accuracy means we can get another future values. So here the train and the test data are fixed by from the model train data, so that we are getting the model value and testing for the model value. So here we get in this 63 to 85, and they are training and modeling that value. So train different models using a linear regression app. We can use also linear regression app. If you having the data in Excel format, you can fix that value, as well as you can use the linear regression value. You cannot write any coding. It is a simple one. But in coding format, we can test the training by itself, each and every line by writing the coding. So regression coding is also MTL LM. MTL underscore LM is called as a regression code, linear regression. So like that, X data and Y data are trained and modeled here. After that, it will be trained to the neural network. So before that, we are going to fit the line by net train. Net means neural network. So we are trained and test the data before we are getting the output. Finally, in this section, we are getting the output from predicted value as tested, how much accuracy we are getting that, so that it will give the approximate value. Actually, the output of per year we can get it. Because of before 10 years data we given to the input, after that we getting the output of the 1 year for 2012, so that the value of accuracy is more or less equal, and the error value in megawatt in neural network are below in the picture. It will show a little bit megawatts in a particular year, July as well as the December. That means summer and winter season. It shows the lot of variation in the New York City. So like that, we can also analyze from the previous data to future load forecasting. So this is a program coding method. So I send this program to all. You can just learn each and every line. You can use for your project. Another one is regression learner app. How we are going to use regression learner app means. So now I share my MATLAB, how we are going to take and how we are going to analyze. So in that, you select the app column about 2016 MATLAB version. You can get the apps in the toolbox. So in app column, you can extend that app column. In that, math, statics, and optimization. Some 2019 above versions having the machine learning techniques in a in individual tab. So that in that, the regression learner app is there. So if you click that regression learner app, it pop up the new window. So new submission from the workspace. I'm not having any data because I'm not run that program. Yesterday itself I ran that program, so that workspace data, I don't have any workspace data. From file, I choose the from file. So monthly, hourly data for New York up to 2004 to 2014. I opened that spreadsheet. It is the last data. So it will ask yourself if it is a feasible amount of data, means it will access directly. Otherwise, it takes some time and ask you which data need to feed. So I'm giving here just 365 data, 480 data import selection. Because of our explanation, I limited this data. So this data set will be open after linear regression learner, so that you can fix what you are going to analyze. I am choosing first the Excel data here. From new session, here I am choosing Excel data. Second thing, what I am going to analyze. If you are going to load forecast, means here your Excel data having the load value. If you are going to predict the price, means here your tab is your input data having price, because the data set having every individual value to prepare the output, so that it is clearly mentioned in your Excel sheet. I am here explaining just what is regression learner, so that I am choosing here any one of the value. So I'm going to analyze this. After that, I'm class validation or holdout validation. So for large data set, you can use holdout validation. For smaller amount, means you can use class validation. Then start session. Give the start session. It will start the session. In this section, you are going to use analyze any one of the regression techniques. Now we are seeing. Now I explained lot of linear regression. So like that here, having the linear regression, linear SVM, quadratic SVM, lot of regression models are available. So if you are familiar with any one of linear regression analysis or regression analysis, means you can fix that. Otherwise, you can click all. If you click all, means it will take all the regression analysis. After that, you can click train. So first, it will taking much time. After that, it will provide our output. So once it's run over, it will source here. Here is multiple last chance all trap is there, but each and every analysis here presented which one MSM, mean square error value, is less. You can choose that, or root mean square value, or MSM. So the error value which one is less, you can choose that, or you can familiar with any one of analysis, means you can fix that. Then you can export this model here. After running this, you can export model here as a coding or as a sheet. In previous example, you are writing lot of coding, but here you are going to open the app and give the input data as per requirement. After you are going to train with the any one of algorithm model of regression. After that, you can export model here. Which one root mean square error or error value is less, you are going to export data here. This is a simple way we can get the output or predicted value easily by using regression learner app. So it is a prediction app. You can use any of your application in this regression learner available app. So here it will be run, maybe take time for 10 to 15 minutes. So here it's a queued. it will be come under skewed. Almost 15 is there. So I'm going to cancel for our analytic purpose. Linear regression only running. So remaining things I am going to cancel. So here shows the error value. Root mean square error value. Which one is less? You can choose that model. First linear regression, linear model is 7.816. First here. My cursor is present there. Second one is 7.83, 7.35, 7.9. So linear regression 7.32 is comparatively less in SVM. So I choose the SVM and export. Here export command having export model, export compact model, generate code. If you are giving the generate code means it will be comes in the editor column for your linear regression model. It write the code automatically. And the export model means it will be exported as a history list of workspace to make prediction with new data. So that I am going to again, if you fix it, this SVM is a good one means again you go and fix it SVM. Find Gaussian. So one. After that, you are going to see your predicted versus actual plot here and a residual plot here. This analysis giving you a response how much error spot you can analyze the fit line to your error actual values. So each and every, if you are trained with each and every model means it will having amount of data, but they predict for our model SVM is best one. So you can easily analyze this overall data with this regression planner app. So in this regression learner app, it's a lot of advantages for time saving and coding, shorten the coding methods are available. So after that, you export the code, you can change your output code from the neural network or other things. You can get the output from that. So you are going to analyze and predict the data from linear regression app only. So these three examples shown is a basic simple model which available in MATLAB. I'm not writing any new program. Taking for explaining you, I'm taking from the math work from these three examples. So I mostly suggest a regression learner app is mostly used in renewable energy forecasting method or prediction method for best apps because of forecasting and prediction done by a very accurate in a regression learner app as well as the regression analysis technical. Maybe it's a linear regression or logistic regression or SVM regression. So you can use these means renewable energy means you can get better result for your project or research. So I think this is the end of my presentation. So in between, I'm not interacting with you. So if you have any doubt, means you can ask, unmute and ask, because I hope it is not having time to complete, so that I rushed to complete the overall session so fast and omit some of the slide, not explaining much more. If you have any doubt, you can ask. So mainly I focused in this presentation what are renewable energy problems are analyzed currently and how we are going to sort out. by using the machine learning, so that most of the theory part analyzed and less number of a problem. So Revati ma'am asked if the data set contains 10,000 samples, how many are used for training and how many are for testing? If you are using neural network, means you can use the formula for getting the value of your set to contain test and for the training test. If you are using not fuzzy logic, using interfacing with some other technique, means they are having the some limitation. So what model you are going to use means it will be having some difficult to training and testing data. Normally 10,000 samples have, if you have means 10%, you can fix a 10% for the testing, remaining for training data. So therefore the better system performance will be improved. Mostly they are taking like that. Thank you.
Sir, thank you so much for your interesting and insights on renewable energy, sir. And dear participants, the feedback link has been posted in the chat box. Kindly fill the same. We wish to meet you all in tomorrow morning forenoon session. Thank you all.
Ma'am? So network issue. Thank you all. Thank you for participating.